What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Chris, and this is Barnon 11970. Thank you for taking the time to listen to another one of my videos, and this is just a spur-of-the-moment thing. And I wanted to share a thought with you guys and gals, and I hope you guys are enjoying your day. And I'm sure most people will be watching this when it uploads, because this was a video I wasn't planning on making. But I was feeling a little bit nostalgic earlier, and I was going through some old movies, and I rewatched the movie Family Man with Nicolas Cage. And if you haven't seen that movie, I definitely recommend it. It's a movie where Nicolas Cage is dating this girl in the beginning, and they're in love, and he gets a job opportunity to go to England, and she doesn't want him to go. He ends up going anyway. They end up not being together. He ends up becoming very successful, but alone. And the movie basically has him see what would have happened if he didn't get on that plane and they ended up together. And it made me think about things. And I always believe that everything happens for a reason. I mean, I haven't watched that movie in a long time. We're always questioning the things that we do, wondering, are we in the right place? And it's funny, after I watched the movie, it really just made me think about that. It's like, we're always saying we could have been better, we could have done this differently, we could have been with that person, are we with the right person? And it's funny, after the movie was over, two of my three cats were just sitting in the corner, and they were kind of just staring at me. And I looked into their eyes, and I'm kind of like, you know what? If my life would have been different, they wouldn't be here. My wife wouldn't be here. Who knows that if I would have chosen to do something differently, that my life would have not necessarily been better or worse, who knows? But I think that the reason that we make our choices is to guide us in a certain direction. And I find it funny listening to some of the comments, good funny. And it seems like people are waking up, they're happy with it, it's uplifting, they're learning a lot of things in life, and it shows me that maybe we are guided. Maybe it's because we're paying attention to where we're supposed to be, and it takes us exactly where we need to be. And it made me feel good about where things are going. And I think you should too. Because even, like they say, in the darkest hours, the day is, I forget the exact quote, but the day is the darkest before the sun rises. And I really think when people that come here and other places on YouTube where they're trying to either spiritually awaken or, help themselves financially and learn the truth, that we are the ones that are being guided to give us the best opportunity if a bad situation was to occur. Because if you think about it, let's say for whatever reason we're on a path to a potential war or destruction or anything like that, which I don't really believe in, but let's just say it happens. If you're one of the people that stores food and water, you have alternative ways of bartering, things like gold and silver. You protect yourself. Maybe you have guns, maybe you don't. Maybe you've learned how to cook and grow foods differently. Well, if there was a scenario where the lights went out and there's panic or there's war or there's something really bad, or just say there's really bad storms or a disease or something negative, well, 90% of the people out there who didn't prepare would be the ones that would suffer, would be the ones that didn't know what to do, would be the ones that even if they were pampered all their life, and they had all the riches in the world, and they had all the money in the world, and no cares in the world, but because they didn't learn anything, when the SHTF happens, what would they do? People like us who are learning how to grow our own food, to make our own soaps, to be aware of the surroundings, to pay attention to the possibilities, to have extra food and water. Well, if there's a situation that arises, wouldn't that give us at least a fighting chance? And if you look at it that way, maybe that's the reason why we're going through what we're going through, because someone or something or whatever loves you so much that they don't want you to be one of the many millions who could potentially suffer because they chose not to listen. They chose not to pay attention. You have to forgive me, I'm having a little bit of a breathing problem tonight. That's one of the bad things about cats, so my breathing is a little wheezy. But if you look at it that way, then are we really on the wrong path? And you could see, like, the title of this and the image that you see, we are our choices. And you can imagine how every little minor thing that you do puts us on a path to a certain direction. I mean, just imagine if a plane was going to go down. All the people on that plane, all the things that they have to do, if you hit rewind, all the things they have to do for them all to be in that moment to get on that plane all at the same time. And how somebody getting a flat tire, or somebody taking a left turn instead of a right turn, can change their future. And I think we're supposed to be here because we're the few that are paying attention. We're the few that are listening. We're the few that are working hard to figure out what it is that's drawing us to this. Because most of us who quote-unquote awaken, and I think it's a perfect video that I made earlier for this, is we don't go searching for this. It comes to us. At least the majority of us. We had our regular life. Everything was going routine. And then all of a sudden something came along, whatever it was, that made our paths go in a different direction. And it's leading us here. To me, that is a beautiful thing when you see it. Because just imagine, if you think of, like, for example, the TV show The Walking Dead, and how everything just happens, and it doesn't have to be a zombie thing, but let's say there's some kind of disease, or some kind of famine, or some kind of financial crisis, or some kind of situation. How many people out there would survive? I mean, think about the Great Depression. Back in those days, people made their own food. They grew their own food. They had farms. They made their own clothing. They were more in touch with nature. Nowadays, everybody's relying on their cell phone and their latest fashion, high heels, pocketbooks, or fancy suits, or fancy cars. What good are those things going to be if things shut down? And you think about it almost like the whole religious thing, the Tower of Babylon, the tower shall fall. And how many millions of people who are paying attention to sports, who are worried about how much money they could put in their pocket, worrying about their next vacation. How many of those people, if everything shut down tomorrow, would panic and not know what to do? And even though we go through some very hard times challenging ourselves and feeling bad because for some reason we care enough to not shut off this signal we're receiving. Because think about that. We have free will. We could easily say, you know what? Screw this. I don't want this. Because let me tell you something. The abuse that I've put up with, and I'm sure many of you put up with, the loneliness, the people who mocked us, if a bad situation was to happen, we'd be prepared for it. And the people who mocked us and did not do what we tried to help them with will be wishing they were us at that moment. And if you think of it that way, are we really in a bad place? And that's why I really think, and I don't think, I feel that this year something is going to happen. And it doesn't have to be a bad thing. if you're one of the people who cared enough to listen to that signal, whatever it is, whoever it is, whatever it is. And we've made our choices to be here. If you're listening to this right now, and I appreciate those who are listening to this, whether it's live or not, and again, this was just a spur of the moment thing, you're exactly where you need to be. The problem is, we only deal with our past and our present. The future hasn't happened yet, and that is scary. It scares people to death, to the point where some people will stay in a horrible situation just because it's familiar, than to take the chance of the unknown. And we are taking that unknown path. We are taking the path that most people are not choosing, the road less traveled. And I really feel in my heart that we are guided for a purpose, that we're supposed to be maybe the meek that inherit the earth. It could be overdramatic. It could be nostalgic. I could be totally wrong. But I don't feel that I am. And I don't think you should either. If you're listening to this and you're one of the people here for the right reasons, if you've gone through this pain, the loneliness, the harder path, maybe it's because it's guiding you to protect yourself. So if something bad happens, you won't be one of those people with no food, or no clothing, or no shelter, or no ability to help your family, your friends, your loved ones, or yourself. I'm sure if you even go by biblical stories, I'm sure when Noah first found out in that story that there was going to be a flood that would destroy the earth, I'm sure he wasn't jumping up and down for joy. But I bet you he was pretty darn happy that even though people mocked him about making his boat, I bet you people were wishing they had a boat at that moment that flood took away everything. And a lot of times we're so focused on the present that we don't see what we're doing that guides us to a better place, because we're not there yet. And I really feel, by choice, we all truly do want to be here. And maybe it's because, like I said, the universe is made of electricity and magnetism. Maybe we're attracted to this for a reason, because we can all easily say, you know what, I'm done. I even tried to walk away from it. For almost a year and a half to 2 years, I basically walked away from this channel and started that comic book channel to try and get away from it. And yet here I am, pulled back in, and very happy for it. And even my experiences at the comic book channel, even though there were some things that I am so not happy about how it happened, but in a way I'm glad it did, because it got me back here, it got me back on track. And the beautiful thing about taking the wrong road is eventually, if you keep driving, you end up still where you need to be. It might have taken you a little bit longer, but you're still there. And that's all that matters. So what I want to tell anybody that's listening to this is be glad that we're going through this. Maybe it's like, when you went to college, you wanted to join a fraternity or a sorority. You had to go through all this garbage to be part of the group. Maybe we're supposed to experience all this negative stuff and all this loneliness and the hardships and the challenges and the abuse to make us stronger. Because it takes a strong person to put up with people walking away from us when we could have easily at one point been the spotlight, the life of the party, the person that just conformed with everybody else because it was easier. It's whatever you want it to be. Now, you could think Chris is crazy. You could say, wait, he has a point. I'm not going to tell you how to think. I give my point of view, and if it resonates with you, there's a reason for that. And if it doesn't, that's perfectly fine. I'm not here to judge anyone. And I wish more people would not judge me, but I can't control what anybody else does, and neither can you. So whatever path you're on, realize that you did the choices that brought you here, and you could easily change it if you don't want to. I mean, if you wanted to. But let me ask you this. Knowing all the things you know now, if you had the opportunity to go back and just not know it, Now, that wouldn't change the course that we're on, but you would just not know it. Would you do it? And I'll tell you right now, I would not go back. Because to me, ignorance is not bliss. So, to me, I feel more empowered than ever before. The way I feel that my choices brought me here for a reason. It's almost like if you watch the Terminator movie, where she knew what the future was, and she prepared for it and prepared her son. While most people laughed at her, mocked her, and wanted to put her and strap her away. And it ended up she was right, and she was one of the few that survived. So maybe this isn't a curse after all. Maybe it's a blessing that we're being taught to be independent. We're being taught to be able to be your own leader, to be strong enough to withstand abuse from other people, to be able to continue to go on even when friends and family decide, I don't want to speak to this person anymore. Who knows? I guess we'll find out. But I know a lot of people are feeling something that they've never felt before. And to me, I think there's got to be a reason for that. And I guess we will find out. But I feel very lucky to have the people here that are here for the right reasons. I'm very happy to know that my choices, I could have easily continued partying and drinking and not caring. I was a lot more popular back then. But who knows where I'd be right now, and who knows what that would do to my future. So I want to keep this one short because I know there are some people who don't like longer videos, and I want to make it so other people can get the chance to listen to this. So I'm going to cut this one short, but I want to thank everybody, and if you're just tuning in, start from the beginning when this uploads, and realize if you're here and you're here for the right reasons, your choices brought you here. Maybe we're learning this stuff to prepare us for something that maybe we can't stop, or maybe we don't want to stop, or maybe we're just here because we chose to experience this. Maybe that's our spiritual growth. Maybe you have to go through some negative things to become positive or to become enlightened. Who knows? Just trust your instincts, trust your heart, and know that if anything bad were to happen, and I hope it doesn't, I'm sure that a lot of people that are listening to this would know what to do and would be very prepared, or at least have a better chance than some stockbroker on Wall Street with millions of dollars in his pocket who has everyone giving him things or her things with the snap of a finger. Wouldn't want to be them then. So thank you for listening. I really appreciate taking the time. I hope you will watch this to the end. I hope you will subscribe. I would love to hear your comments, and I hope you have a great night. Thanks for listening.